viewers to the Personal Injury Law Show. We're in our 7th series. My name's Tony Carbone, personal injury lawyer of 25 years experience. Next to me I've got John Carancis, an accredited law specialist.
Evening, Tony.
How are you, John?
Good,
What's it mean?
thank you. I'm an accredited specialist in personal injury law, Tony. The Law Institute of Victoria has accredited me. There's not many
Handful of you around, isn't there, John?
Yes.
They're a very rare breed. And next to me I've got Wayne Crockford, a former client of mine, who's going to talk about his case and his life's experiences and the journey he's been through. Good evening, Wayne.
Good evening, Tony. Good evening, John.
Evening, Wayne. But before we get to that, Tony, what's in the news?
Well, there's been a lot in the news, John, a lot in the news, viewers. We've had a lot of cases involving the Department of Human Services. There's been a number of instances where there's been wards of state, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, they've become pregnant whilst in the care of the Department of Human Services. It means that there's a fundamental lack of care on the part of the department, John.
It's a worrisome problem, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, well, there's been a campaign by the Sun newspaper. Every story involving these wards of state and also mainly involving children, they've been honing in on the department because they say that there's been no care, no attention, and they're going off the rails completely.
Well, it seems like a fundamental breach of duty, doesn't it,
It
Tony?
is. The duty on the department's very high because you're dealing with people that can't really look after themselves, and they're guardians effectively, aren't they? And they can't offload their responsibilities.
They're a ward of the state.
Yeah.
And the state has a duty to take care of these people,
That's
don't
right.
they?
That's exactly right.
Yet
And they can't offload it to any third parties.
Yet they're allowing them to be injured, assaulted, physically, and unfortunately, even raped at times, Tony.
It's a real problem. I mean, and there's been many instances of this. But anyway, look, we'll come back to this in the future. But what I want to do now is go to Wayne's story. Wayne, welcome aboard. And just tell us a bit about your background. What sort of schooling did you have, Wayne?
I went to Flem High, left in year 9.
Year 9, yeah. So is it fair to say you didn't like school?
Spot on.
Yeah?
Yes.
And most of your life's been doing heavy labouring type work, but mainly trucking, is that correct?
Yeah, mostly truck. Probably the last 20 years or so I've done truck driving.
So Wayne, you left school around year 9, which was what, the early 80s?
I think late 70s.
Late 70s, early 80s, and you've gone and done all these odd jobs, working blue-collar type of hard physical labouring type work?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why-
most of the unloading and loading of
Truck driving,
containers,
yes.
Driving, whatever's on the menu.
And Wayne, in your time doing this sort of work, did you sustain any injuries?
I had a lower back injury, which is pretty hard to work out how not to aggravate it, you know what I mean?
But you had a number of instances in different employers where you aggravated your back and exacerbated your back a number of times, and you had short periods off work.
Yeah, short periods, but it wasn't life-threatening.
And it didn't affect your capacity to work and enjoy your life, did it?
Oh, no, we still got at it and got amongst it.
And no surgery back then?
No, there was talk of it, but it was exploratory. I actually didn't know where the problem was, so I wasn't...
All right, and then you've started working for Carl May.
Yeah.
When did you start working there?
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
All right, and what were you doing there?
Truck driver.
Truck driver.
Quite enjoyed the job too. It was a good company.
Does it pay well, Wayne, trucking?
I think these days if you've got your own truck, own a driver, but there again, you work for a company and you've got the less headaches. So
But you did this sort of work not because you didn't like school. That's number one, and two, you must have enjoyed what you're doing.
Yeah,
Truck driving.
I did. Yeah, I did. I'd like to get out and you get out.
You're out and about.
Yeah,
you're seeing people.
You're not doing the same job.
You must know Melbourne pretty well.
Yes.
Let's be realistic. Not everyone's scholastic, are they, John?
No.
And we do need our tradies, we need our apprentices, we need all sorts of people, don't we?
Well, tradies, Tony, these days are making stacks of money, aren't they?
That's exactly right.
Plumbers, electricians, truck drivers, these type of industries
and
now, Tony.
society needs them. We can't do without them. So it's important that we do have these people.
And they're very important.
That's
As you know,
exactly
if you're
right.
building a house, Tony,
Of course,
an
you need the whole
electrician
gambit
and a
of-
plumber not only costs an arm and a leg, but you want them to do the right job too, don't
That's
you?
exactly right. Wayne, let's get back to this. When you were working for this company, what exactly happened? You went on a particular job one day. You were delivering container. Yeah. Tell us what happened.
Well, I was unaware what was inside the container. I picked it up from the wharf, delivered it to the company, reversed the truck into position to open up the back doors. I opened up one back door, and then I noticed it was full of loaded of empty pallets that weren't secured. They were loose. I opened up the second door, and I turned around to walk back to the truck, and the top 15 pallets came out and sort of knocked me from my shoulder to the ground. And that's where I sustained the broken hip.
It was a nasty injury, wasn't it?
Yes, between myself and the two ambulance drivers, we thought it was a corky in the thigh.
You're kidding.
Yes.
What sort of pellets were they? Shep?
Fine. No, they weren't the heavy ship, but they were heavy enough to...
Well, 15 pellets, a lot of weight.
A lot of weight on me.
And Wayne, this has occurred on the 7th of January 2009.
9, yes.
Which wasn't long ago.
Not really, no. It's actually gone pretty
Over a
quick.
couple of years, yeah.
John, when we commenced proceedings in this case, we had to join 4 defendants. Why is that?
4 defendants, Tony. The first defendant being the employer,
Yes.
who's employed Wayne to perform his required duties, which include truck driving and the loading and unloading of the pallets. The second defendant was responsible, Tony, for assigning the plaintiff, as in Wayne, truck driving jobs. That was the first defendant. The second defendant was responsible for the unloading of the containers onto the trucks.
Third defendant?
Third defendant was responsible to unload the containers off the trucks. And the fourth defendant was responsible, which importantly is, of securing the load.
Wayne, did you know there was that many defendants joining the proceeding?
No, I did.
You don't particularly care, do you?
Not really, no.
No, you're injured and you're only concerned about looking after yourself and making sure that you get properly compensated.
That's right, yes.
And plus, in the early days, you were worried about your well-being. You didn't know what was exactly wrong with you, did you?
Not really, no. I still have my days now.
But how long did it take for them to tell you that you had a very, very nasty hip injury that required surgery?
Let me think. Well, on the way to the hospital, ambulance driver, as I said before, he thought I'd had a sore knee.
Yep.
Which turned out to be 3 hours later a broken hip.
Okay. Look, we're going to have to go to a sponsors break. Viewers, please don't go away. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break. So don't go.